Today's episode, Caligula, the third emperor of ancient Rome. He was mad, he was insane, he had a short life and an even shorter reign. He was wacky and sometimes fun, but if you're a senator, you better start to run. So today's episode again, Caligula. Who is Caligula? Let's start with some background information. Caligula's birth name, Gaius Julius Caesar Germanicus. Now that first part, Gaius Julius Caesar, he's named after, you might guess, the other Gaius Julius Caesar. And that's the Caesar you're thinking of, you know, et tu brute. That's Caesar, the one you're thinking of. That's his namesake, that's his ancestor. His name's Gaius Julius Caesar, and his last name, Germanicus. Germanicus is for his father, Germanicus. His father was a strong, impressive, powerful, and famous Roman general of the time. So Germanicus is his father, and that's his ideal of a true man, his strength and military power, and also respect. He always wants to get to that point where his father was. As a kid, he's living with his father, obviously, and some of the soldiers take a liking to him. And he's small. He's not really short, but he's real thin and lanky. And he was sickly. As a kid, he had what they called falling sickness. Today, we call that epilepsy. So that created a lot of issues for him. One of those issues was he never learned how to swim because if you have a seizure in the ocean, you're probably just going to sink to the bottom and die. Not many options there. There were some growth issues he had as well. So he was always anxious about this could happen again, a seizure out of nowhere, and always kind of paranoid about it. And the soldiers took a liking to him, though, and they called him Caligula, which I think is a super cool name. What Caligula means is little boot. They said he looked like a little boot, like a soldier's boot. He looked like a little boot. He's kind of like the first rapper, like Lil Pump, Lil Uzi Vert, Lil Nas X. We got Little Boot, Caligula. So Caligula sounds super cool to us, not as cool to them. But then boom, his ideal of strength, his father, Germanicus, dies. His mother moves him and the rest of the family back to Rome. Now, it's not super bad in Rome because Germanicus' father, Tiberius, which would be Caligula's grandfather, is the emperor. So it's not terrible, but there are some issues. Squabble here, squabble there, bing, bang, boom. Caligula is the last male left in that family his mother brings back from the wars. And he's appointed consul. Now, consul is the highest elected official you can get to, but at this point, you kind of need the emperor to appoint you. It's not really as much elected. But you control, you kind of lead the Senate. It's a high position. But Tiberius gets to a point where he doesn't want to be emperor anymore. He doesn't really care. I never wanted to be emperor. I'm going to go to my island. I'm going to chill. I'm going to party. And I'm going to bring my favorite grandson, little Caligula. He leaves the city and the empire in charge of two other guys. Doesn't really care that much. And he goes and parties. A lot of parties, a lot of debauchery, and a lot of people think that might have affected young Caligula. Tiberius himself, then, boom, he dies. Caligula, 24-year-old, he's sickly, he's paranoid, he's anxious, he's not the best fit, he didn't have any military experience. Boom, is now our emperor. The third emperor of Rome, Caligula, little boot. The first 6 months, pretty chill, honestly. Vibes are good. Everything's fine. But he wants more power. And the Senate doesn't want to give him that power because they want more power and they want power that other emperors have taken from them. And they tell Caligula one day, you have to appoint a consul. You have to appoint a new consul. It's a part of your job, do it. And he's like, no, I'm not doing it. Like, screw you. And they're like, you have to do it, it's your job. And he says, I'd rather make my horse consul. Again, that's like the leader of the Senate. I'd rather make my horse consul than any one of you. And that's, of course, insulting to them. Okay? Pretty good compliment for the horse, though. So the Senate starts to not like him even more. One day he gathers all the senators and other high-ranking, powerful officials into a room together. And they're like, whoa, what's this meeting about? I don't know. We're all here. It must be big. And he looks down upon them. And you know what he says? He says, I just want to let everyone here know that I can kill any one of you anytime I want. So just like, have a great day. Meeting's adjourned. Have a great weekend. But I just remember, don't cross me because I can kill you. So we have a little bit of a turn to madness here. We're going to get a little bit more little mad and crazy. He's emperor, as I said. But there was a prophecy that stated that it was a greater chance that Caligula can ride a horse across this specific bay near Naples than become emperor. Well, Caligula's already emperor, but he's like, I'm still going to ride my horse across that bay because I'm awesome and screw your damn prophecy. So he goes to that bay, and it's a 2-mile long bay. He has them build a bridge. It's a pontoon bridge with floating wooden platforms. And he's like, I'm going to ride across that bay. It's pretty cool. I think it's a pretty cool idea. So people gather. They're like, we get to see our emperor, and he's going to ride across the bay on a horse. That's going to be awesome. People show up. They get trashed. Like, you want to go see the emperor? Let's get some drinks. And they're getting trashed, and people are falling off buildings into the bay and just drowning while this is all happening. People are loving it. He thinks, this is going to be awesome. Maybe this is the chance people will see me like my father, strong like Germanicus. So he thinks, I need to look strong. My outfit's important. And then he goes to Alexander the Great's tomb, the great conqueror of the past, hundreds of years ago, takes his armor off, takes the breastplate, and he wears it himself. He's wearing an old, dead, strong conqueror's armor. He's wearing some old dead guy's clothes to appear tough. So it says, riding across the bay. It's kind of like almost, if you think about it, like almost like an Evel Knievel stunt, and it's the emperor, and he's wearing an old dead guy's clothes. Kind of a cool vibe. It said the sun glistened off his armor. I'm sure some people in attendance thought, whoo, Caligula's, be honest, he's kind of sick, they're probably thinking. Like, did you see him? That's Alexander the Great's armor? Like, it's got to be cool. It's a vibe. He rides across this once and then rides across back on a chariot. It's all big and fancy. It's all showy. He wants to be seen as strong and tough, which he isn't. He wants to be seen like his father. He doesn't view himself that way because he knows he's weak and he sees himself as weak. He takes some of this anger out on one of his guards. The Praetorian Guard protect the emperor. And one of his guards he views as effeminate, so he calls him a girl and you're effeminate. He makes fun of him often and constantly. This is going to go back to bite him if you just wait a little bit. But he still wants that military victory. The emperors previously and the emperors after are going to have some kind of military experience or victory to make them seem more strong and intelligent. So he thinks, I'm going to get my victory. I'm going to take the army to northern France. He takes the army to the coast of northern France and out along the English Channel. On the other side of it, England. Now, England's scary for the Romans. It's unknown. It's mystery. It's full of druids and warrior queens. It's terrifying. Now, either Caligula knowing I can't take England or thinking, no, I'm going to fight the real enemy here. He takes his men in their ships and enters the Channel. And while in the Channel, he declares war. At this point, he views himself as a god. People in the Senate are literally blowing smoke up his butt and saying, you're a god. And he's like, you know what? I am a god. He's viewing himself higher than a normal emperor would. He thinks he's a god. Senators are trying to maybe kiss his butt, or they actually feel that way, or saying, Caligula, I would die for you. And he says to them, okay, go do it. Go die for me. And then when the senator's like, it's just an expression. He thinks, oh, so you lied to me. Because you said you would die for me, but now it sounds like I'm going to have to kill you for lying to the emperor. So he sees himself as a god. They're in the Channel. And he declares war, not on England, not on anyone else, but Neptune, the god of the sea. He declares war on the ocean itself. And him and his men, they take their swords and their spears, and they stab the water. He's fighting the ocean. And then he's like, woo! Guys, we won. Obviously we won, because I don't see a kraken or anything. Neptune sucks, is what he thinks. They go back to the beach, and he says, men, we won. And then he gives them all literally $100, 100 denarii, and then has them walk the beach. He has them pick up seashells. He says, grab as many as you can. Fill your helmets with seashells. For men, now you are rich. He didn't give that much money, and he told them to collect seashells. And then before they leave, he orders his men to create a lighthouse. And then they're out of there. To most people, that's the work of a madman. I'm going to fight the ocean, and then we're going to pick up seashells, and then we're going to build a lighthouse. Pretty cool, right? But if we think about it a little more in depth, so some Roman soldiers years prior like would leave the army or mutiny if they believed the odds were maybe too strong against them. When asked to cross the Rhine, some soldiers said, no, screw it, I'm done. So if he asked his troops to fully cross the channel and attack England, some of them probably would have said no and maybe mutinied and maybe killed their emperor. And that would have been a hard fight. He was never beating England at the time. So by fighting the ocean, easy win. Get that dub, you know what I mean? He gets the win. I'm a military genius. I fought the ocean. I killed Neptune. His soldiers get a win. That's morale boost. Okay? Grab the seashells. Get something cool. Make a memory. You know what I mean? Pick them up. Guys, enjoy yourself. Go back home and be like, look at my seashells. Pretty cool, right? But the lighthouse. It's not just like, I'm cool, it's a lighthouse. It expands their sphere of influence. So later emperors can take England using things like that lighthouse to greater use the area, know where the rocks are, know where things are to then make the trip. He's making baby steps to conquering England. It's actually a smart thought. But as I said, the senators hate him, okay? People are kind of like, he's kind of cool. Senators hate him because he's stealing their power and killing them when they disagree with him. And the Praetorian Guard, who he's calling effeminate all the time, hates him. And they think, you know what we should do? Why don't we kill him? The last Gaius Julius Caesar, his ancestor, the Caesar, hey, tu bruti, we stabbed him like 300 times. And their original goal when they stabbed Caesar was so he doesn't become an emperor. That failed, and Caesar Augustus takes over and becomes their first emperor. Not too long before Caligula. They have the same idea again. Let's kill him. We'll bring back the Roman Republic. Senate back in power. It's insane that they have the same idea. So Caligula, he's partying. You know what I mean? He's at a theater. He's coming out. This is not even 4 years into his reign. Okay, he started as 24. I believe he's 28 at the time, but he hasn't reigned for even 4 years yet. He comes out of the theater. The senators and that one Praetorian Guard hack him to bits. They cut him, they stab him, they shank him, they kill Caligula. And their brains are like, woo! We're back. Senate's back, Republic's back. It's a total failure, okay? Because the other Praetorian Guards say, like, that's gonna happen. And they name Caligula's uncle Claudius. They're like, you're emperor now, bud. Have fun. Screw what they did. You're emperor now. So we have Claudius, and then after him is Nero. You might already know of Nero. He is the 666. He's the devil for early Christians. He is a story for another day. Today's story was Caligula, his small, mad 4-year reign where he tries to appoint a horse as consul. He wears other men's clothes to seem strong, and he threatens a group of people that he can kill them. He finds out a little later that they can kill him too. So if you're in charge of an empire one day, maybe don't be rude to the people who killed your version and your namesake less than 100 years ago. It's not the best play, honestly. If you like the video, I need you to do something. You don't have to do it, but I'd like you to do it. There's a thumbs up. It's called a like. Give the video a like if you liked it. If you want to see the videos every time, hit subscribe. That'll give you your little subscription box, your feed. That'll put our videos in there. And when you're on your phone, you're texting or whatever, there's notifications. You can get the video to pop up and say, new video from Fun Bits About. That's what the bell is. Hit the bell. You'll get notified every single Friday when I put out a new video. If you have any ideas, comment section. You guys know. Do. If it's a good comment, I'll reply to it. I might give it a like. Let me hear your ideas, people. What do you want to see? Okay? Again, I've been Trent. This has been Caligula, and you've still been the audience. Have a great day.